Hi everyone, welcome back to my Elden Ring series where I make a build for every weapon in the game. In this episode, I'll be covering the Coded Sword. This weapon is a straight sword that requires 20 faith to wield and scales purely with faith and deals 100% holy damage. It can be acquired in Lanedell Royal Capital in the building that is a copy of the Round Table Hold. This weapon comes with a unique skill called Unblockable Blade, which extends the holy blade of our sword with a wide sweeping attack. For this build, I obviously went for a pure faith setup, and I'm using the Coded Sword in my right hand and the Erdtree Seal in my left for casting incantations. This sword is an excellent weapon for pure faith builds, since it has no other stat requirements, is very lightweight, and fits well thematically with the caster character. The Unblockable Blade skill is very strong, especially against enemies that are vulnerable to holy damage, or enemies that use shields, since as the name suggests, it cannot be blocked. Because this is a pure faith build, we are free to go all out and use any incantations that we like. Personally, I decided to stick with holy damage projectiles to match the holy aesthetic of our weapon, plus I prefer to keep it simple by only using a few incantations at a time. My arsenal includes Discus of Light, Multi-Layered Ring of Light, and the Light of Mikola. I also have Golden Vow as a buff spell. This selection of spells gives us a good variety of attack options with both cheap, quick projectiles and heavier hitting nukes, all of which have impressive range. This hybrid melee and caster setup gives us a lot of versatility in battle. I use my spells to attack at long distance and use the Coded Sword at short range. For melee combat, we have the option to just hack and slash away with the basic sword moveset, as well as utilize the Unblockable Blade skill for longer attack windows or for crowd control. Unblockable Blade also does a surprising amount of stance damage, so we tend to get no shortage of staggers. Overall, the Coded Sword is one of my favorite weapons in the game personally, and I really like the way that this build feels. It's like we're the final boss of holy damage. Even against the endgame bosses that are notoriously difficult for holy builds, it still felt like I was pretty strong. For my stats, at level 150, I have 55 Vigor, 37 Mind, 16 Endurance, 10 Strength and Dexterity, 12 Intelligence, 79 Faith, and 10 Arcane. 55 Vigor gives us plenty of health, especially combined with our armor. We have a really good chunk of Mind at 37, giving us plenty of FP to generously use incantations and our weapon skill. 16 Endurance gives us plenty of stamina to meet our needs, although we are cutting it close with equip load. As for our damage, this is as pure of a faith build as it gets, so I went all the way to the soft cap to maximize the damage of both my weapon and spells. We do need just a few extra points in intelligence to be able to use the Discus of Light, however. For my armor, I am using the Circlet of Light as my headpiece, which gives us an extra point in Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane, combined with the rest of the Tree Sentinel set, including the altered Tree Sentinel chest armor to get rid of the cape. I call this character the Golden Boy. It definitely looks like this guy knows his way around holy weapons. Moving on to my talismans, I first have the Sacred Scorpion charm to boost all of our many sources of holy damage at the cost of some defense. We actually get 100% utility out of this talisman because every single one of our attacks deals pure holy damage. Next, I have the Shard of Alexander to boost the power of our already hard-hitting Unblockable Blade skill. Then I have the Dragon Crest Great Shield for more defense, which you can swap out for an Elemental Defense Talisman if you want, depending on the boss you are facing. And finally, I have the Erdtree's Favor +2 variant for more health, stamina, and equip load. This talisman actually happens to give us the exact amount of equip load needed to medium roll with my equipment and stats. I'm talking down to 0.1 units of weight. Also, if anyone seems like they would deserve the favor of the Erdtree thematically speaking, it's definitely this character. For the Flask of Wondrous Physic, I have the Holy Shrouding Cracked here for more holy damage, again giving us 100% utility here. Then I have the Opaline Hard tier for more defense, which combined with our armor and talismans makes us very, very tanky. And that is all I have for this build video on the Coded Sword. I had a ton of fun playing with this one especially. Pure Faith builds hold a special place in my heart since I used one for my very first playthrough of Elden Ring what feels like forever ago. Stick around to see some super flashy and cinematic footage of me taking down bosses with this absolute powerhouse of a build. Here's an overview of my setup. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.